I had never seen anything like it in my life. 1 minute, I'm sipping burnt office coffee in my quiet little suburban real estate office. The next 2 men in fake police uniforms are pounding on my door, shouting my name like I'm some kind of fugitive. And here's the kicker. They were sent by my own HOA president Karen Whitfield in what turned out to be the dumbest, most expensive stunt she's ever pulled. You know how some people just live for power? Karen was that multiplied by 10. The woman strutted around our cul-de-sac like she owned the asphalt. She'd fine you for having your trash can out 5 minutes late, glare at your kids for riding bikes too fast, and God help you if your lawn wasn't HOA magazine perfect. I'd been on her radar ever since I pushed back on a shady beautification fee. She slipped into our annual dues, a fee I later discovered was going straight into a private landscaping account she controlled. Fraud, plain and simple. The first time I confronted her about it, she laughed in my face. "You have no proof, Michael," she said, all smug, her sunglasses glinting in the summer sun. But oh, I did have proof. I had emails, bank statements, even a forged signature she used to approve the spending. I was days away from filing a lawsuit when she pulled this insane stunt with the fake cops. "Open the door. This is the police," one of them barked. His badge looked wrong. Too shiny, too plastic. My stomach twisted. I could hear my receptionist, Jenna, whispering from behind the counter, "Mike, something's not right." I cracked the blinds just enough to peek. The 2 officers were wearing mismatched tactical gear, like they'd raided a thrift store for police costumes. My pulse shot through the roof. I've dealt with real cops before these guys. These guys were playing dress-up. I opened the door just enough to speak through the crack. "Badge numbers," I said. "Now." The taller one smirked. "Sir, you're obstructing an investigation." Obstructing? What investigation? I could feel my patience snapping. "If you don't tell me your badge numbers, you're trespassing." And then they pushed. Hard. The door slammed into my shoulder, sending me stumbling back. Jenna gasped. That's when I knew this wasn't just intimidation. This was a setup. "Sir, we have reason to believe you are in violation of multiple HOA codes," the shorter one said, flipping through a packet that looked like it had been printed at home on cheap paper. I glanced at the header Department of Neighborhood Enforcement. That's not even a thing. I took a breath. "Jenna, call 911. Tell them 2 armed men are impersonating police officers." The taller guy's eyes flickered. "You don't want to do that," he said. His hand hovered just a little too close to his hip, not near a gun, but near a baton. Oh, I wanted to. I wanted to so badly. But then I heard a faint hum outside. And then sirens. Not from them. From down the street. It turns out my upstairs tenant, who runs a small law office, had seen the whole thing from her window and called it in before Jenna even picked up the phone. And she didn't just call the local police. She called in a favor from her cousin who happened to be with the county SWAT team. I swear it felt like a movie. Black SUVs screeched up, doors flew open, and in seconds the street was crawling with real tactical gear, real rifles, real authority. "Hands where I can see them," one of the SWAT officers barked, his voice echoing off the buildings. The fake cops froze. For a moment, I saw pure panic flash in their eyes. One of them tried to explain, babbling something about authorized enforcement. But the SWAT guys weren't having it. They were cuffed, searched, and sitting on the curb in under a minute. And Karen? Oh, she was there, standing at the edge of the sidewalk, arms crossed, pretending she was just checking on the neighborhood. But her face went pale when one of the SWAT officers held up the forged order and said, "Ma'am, did you issue this?" She stammered. Actually stammered. I was told it was legitimate." The officer narrowed his eyes. "You signed it." Her signature was right there, bold as day. And with that, they put her in handcuffs too. I don't think I'll ever forget the sound she made, this strangled gasp, half outrage, half disbelief as they read her rights. The fallout was delicious. Fraud charges, impersonating an officer, conspiracy. Her lawyer tried to spin it, of course, claiming she was misled by third parties. But the evidence was a mile high. The emails I'd saved, they proved she orchestrated the whole thing. But here's the real kicker, her little stunt ended up blowing my case wide open. During the investigation, they found she'd been forging not just HOA documents but even homeowners' signatures for years to approve fines, liens, and maintenance fees that never actually funded maintenance. She'd siphoned tens of thousands of dollars into shell accounts. The lawsuit? Oh, it went forward. And I didn't just win, I got everything. Damages, legal fees, even a court order dissolving the current HOA board. But here's the part that still chills me. A week before the trial, I got an unmarked envelope in my mailbox. No return address. Inside was a single sheet of paper with one sentence, typed in bold. Karen wasn't the only one. My stomach nodded when I read that note. Karen wasn't the only one. The words echoed in my head for days, like a splinter I couldn't dig out. I had thought this was over. Karen humiliated, facing charges, my lawsuit solid as steel. But now, I couldn't shake the feeling someone else was still pulling strings. At the trial, Karen sat there in her orange jumpsuit, hair pulled back, eyes bloodshot. She wouldn't look at me. The prosecution tore through the evidence, the forged documents, the fraudulent accounts, the inspection scam. Every detail stacked up until the judge all but spat out the verdict. She was going to prison. But during a recess, as the bailiff was leading her back, she leaned toward me, just close enough for her whisper to cut through the noise. "You think I'm the villain?" she hissed. "Wait until you meet them." I froze. "Who?" Her smirk returned, faint but poisonous. "You'll find out when it's too late." The rest of the day felt off. Even as the judge ruled in my favor, awarding me damages, granting me the authority to help dissolve and rebuild the HOA, there was no real celebration in my chest. I'd won, yes, but that note, that whisper, they gnawed at me. 2 weeks later, as the property records and HOA files were being handed over to the county, I found something strange. Pages missing from the financial reports. Not Karen's doing this time. The gaps were too clean, too professional. Whoever had done it knew how to make a paper trail disappear. That night, my phone buzzed. A number I didn't recognize. I didn't answer, but the voicemail chilled me. A male voice, calm, almost polite. "Congratulations on your win, Michael. But you should know not all fraud is as easy to prove. Some lawsuits never make it to court. Some vanish." The line clicked dead. I went to the police with the message. They traced it to a burner phone, no leads. My lawyer told me to be careful, to keep my office locked and my cameras rolling. And then silence. No new threats. No new evidence. Just that quiet, suffocating awareness that someone else was still out there. Maybe in another HOA, maybe in mine, waiting. Karen was sentenced to 5 years. But the day they took her away, she looked over her shoulder and mouthed something I'll never forget. "I'm not the one you should fear." Even now, I still catch myself looking over my shoulder when I leave the office. I still double-check my locks before I sleep. And I keep every scrap of evidence I find because deep down, I know this fight isn't really over. Karen was just the surface. The roots go deeper. And one day they're going to come back. If you want to hear what happens when this lawsuit opens the next bigger war, subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss the real story.